mass murderer.
There are ways to have avoided today, but you decided to spill my blood. You forced me into a corner and gave me only one option. The decision was yours. Now you have blood on your hands that will never wash off.
Cho Sung-hee's rambling message of hate is found and still pictures, gun barrel pictures, the way his victims must have seen him. We are seeing these images today for the first time, sent by Cho to NBC News in New York. The postmark, chillingly 9:01 a.m. Monday morning, right in the middle of his killing spree. And perhaps in a sign of how it all would end, we see pictures he sent to NBC, a knife at his neck, a gun poised at his head. Also tonight, new revelations about Cho's mental state, a court ruling that he was an imminent threat to himself. A roommate tonight telling us that some of the rantings on his tape were similar to things he wrote on the walls of their dorm. And if that weren't enough, a 360 exclusive tonight, his terrifying poetry. All of it is new information, most of it utterly horrifying, some of it terribly sad, all the more so because even with all the warning signs of stalking, the imaginary friends, the grisly writings, none of it was enough to get Cho Sung-hee the help he so desperately needed, or to provide the people here with the safety they so desperately deserved. We'll look at why not in the program tonight, and at all the missed signals over the years. We begin, however, with Cho's own words and pictures compiled and sent out by a young man who'd already taken 2 young lives. Gary Tuckman reports.
Cho Sung-hee is dead, but he has now spoken as if from the grave.
When the time came, I did it. I had to.
It's now evident this bloodshed was elaborately planned. A package was sent by the gunman to NBC's headquarters in New York the day of the mayhem. What is being called a multimedia manifesto includes 27 video files.
You had 100 billion chances and ways to have avoided today, but you decided to spill my blood. You forced me into a corner and gave me only one option. The decision was yours. Now you have blood on your hands that will never wash off.
The package is not addressed to anyone particular, but it's full of venom and hatred from a man who believes the world has done him wrong.
Do you know what it feels like to be spit on your face and have trash shoved down your throat? Do you know what it feels like to dig your own grave? Do you know what it feels like to have your throat slashed from ear to ear? Do you know what it feels like to be torched alive? Do you know what it feels like to be humiliated and be impaled upon on a cross and left to bleed to death for your amusement? You have never felt a single ounce of pain your whole life. Did you want to inject as much misery in your life as you can, just because you can? You had everything you wanted. Your Mercedes wasn't enough, you brats. Your golden necklaces weren't enough, you snobs. Your trust fund wasn't enough. Your vodka and cognac weren't enough. All your debaucheries weren't enough. Those weren't enough to fulfill your hedonistic needs. You had everything.
Cho included 43 still photos in the package. The first 2 show him as a normal-looking college student. The rest are troubling and disturbing.
You sadistic scum, I didn't be nothing but a piece of You have vandalized my heart, raped my soul, and torched my conscience. You thought it was one pathetic bored life you were extinguishing. Thanks to you, I die, like Jesus Christ, to inspire generations of the weak and the defenseless people.
The package's postmark indeed indicates it was mailed the day of the killings. In fact, the 9:01 a.m. time that is written shows he mailed it between the 2 murder sprees at the dorm and at the classroom building.
You just loved crucifying me. You loved inducing cancer in my head, terrorizing my heart, and wrecking my soul all this time.
And in the package, a chilling note. He praises the, quote, martyrs like Eric and Dylan, a reference to the Columbine high school killers. It's evident that this man, who has single-handedly ruined so many lives, considers himself a martyr too.
I didn't have to do this. I could have left. I could have fled. But now, I will no longer run. It's not for me. It's for my children, for my brothers and sisters, but you, I did it for them.
What he did was cause misery, and in this high-tech multimedia age, he goes down as a calculated, cold-blooded killer.
Now, Gary, we know that he sent this to NBC in between the killings, between the time of the morning and the later killing. We don't know how much of it he actually taped, though, at that time.
There's no way to know how much he taped at that time. There's no way to know how long it took. I mean, it's a lot of work that this guy did. amazing that nobody noticed it.
Yeah, and had anyone, I mean, in all these pictures, we see him with these pistols and with this knife. Did anyone ever see him with any weapons?
We've talked to a lot of people on campus since we've been here. A lot of people saw him, never saw him with guns. We talked to his two roommates yesterday from last year. They spent the whole year in the same dorm suite with him. They said he had a pocket knife, but they said they never saw a gun and never heard him talk about it.
It's also interesting on so many of these pictures in the video when he's talking, he doesn't have that hat. We've heard so much from Nikki Giovanni, the professor, and others on the campus about him always wearing the hat. We see in some of the pictures a turned-back baseball cap, but it's almost as if in this video he wants to reveal himself and he's willing to sort of expose himself.
It's so surreal and sad and pitiful watching this. And it makes me so sad, especially when we just saw that picture with the hammer. I mean, what is this guy doing? I mean, the horror and terror that he's left here on this campus will never be forgotten. This is just making it worse. You know, it's an important story for us to tell, but you can imagine the parents at home who lost their children in Washington. This has to be so painful.
Well, even for his parents, it has got to be just a nightmare to sort of try to comprehend the scope of it.
I think that's something we forget, that his parents and his sister, graduate of Princeton University, by the way, they're victims too.
Yeah.
But they've lost their son and brother.
Maybe someday we will hear from them. Gary, appreciate your reporting. Thanks very much, Gary. Even before this came out, so many here on campus had stories to tell about a young man who rarely spoke, and when he did, he either creeped the people out or terrified them. Now, we heard last night Gary's report from his roommates about how Cho harassed and stalked women, in their opinion. Now the women are telling their stories. We have more on that tonight from CNN's Randy Kay.
It was sent out of the blue, an instant message from the would-be killer's computer. The female student who received the message from Cho Sung-wi long ago would not talk on camera, still too shaken from the shooting. But she shared it exclusively with CNN. By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word. How could someone described as quiet until now create this much fear? At least two female students were so disturbed by Cho's actions towards them, they contacted police. Neither, in the end, pressed charges. Still, police recommended a medical evaluation because Cho appeared suicidal. The result? A Virginia court found Cho mentally ill and an imminent threat to himself. He was ordered to be treated as an outpatient, released, and returned to campus.
On release, they're given a plan or a protocol to follow.
But Cho had other plans, which may have included making a name for himself. That became even more clear when NBC News received a package from him. It included an 1,800-word manifesto and dozens of videos. Cho talking directly to the camera about religion and his hatred for the wealthy, and showing off his guns.
You forced me into a corner and gave me only one option. The decision was yours. Now you have the blood on your hands that will never wash off.
These individuals feel out of control. They feel like they're victims, and they want to get even by taking charge, taking control. And indeed, how much more control and power can you imagine than someone who goes on a rampage at a college campus, killing dozens, and makes national news as someone who's perpetrated the largest mass shooting in American history.
The package appears to have been mailed between the two campus shootings.
This may be a very new critical component of this investigation. We are in the process right now of attempting to analyze and evaluate its work.
Investigators are also analyzing two notes left by Cho. He describes what he perceived as injustices against him, including bullying. The Associated Press says the notes contain rants against the rich, who have Mercedes, gold, and trust funds, and democratic terrorists. The notes end with, "We'll soon be together." Cho also left behind a laundry list of bizarre behavior, late-night bike rides, waking before dawn, an imaginary girlfriend named Jelly. His roommates say he insisted on calling himself ?
I finally just got completely tired of it. And I'm like, Song acts up, you need to stop this. And he's like, this isn't Song, this is ?
But his professors had other names for him, like creepy and mean.
I just didn't think he was disturbed as we would normally think of a kid as disturbed. I thought he was mean.
Poetry professor Nikki Giovanni says Cho took pictures of girls in class with his cell phone, and his poems were so disturbing she threatened to quit. In one play by Cho, a student angry over detention writes this about his teacher: "I want to kill him. I want to watch him bleed." In another, Cho writes about a young man killing his stepfather: "I hate him. Just kill Dick. Dick must die." If only the answers had come sooner about the man called Question Mark. Randy Kay, CNN, New York.
So many questions about this young man. Joining me now from Tampa, Florida is Greg McCrary, a retired FBI